Welcome to the Campus View Club here at the Peterson Events Center. Jeff Hathorn with Jeff Capel, and a big game coming up on Saturday right here is an Autism Speaks game. We'll discuss that a little later. Virginia Tech is in town. They're coming off a fairly impressive win themselves. As we get started, we're going to talk about last Saturday as well. Let's talk about Tuesday. Is it just hey, one of those days where you weren't doing the things you needed and they did everything right?
First and foremost, they were terrific. They played great. I mean, I looked up at the clock with 8 minutes to go in the game, and I think they had only missed 8 shots the whole game. Some of them were defended well, some of them were not. But they were terrific, and we were not. And it was just one of those games. I mean, it was a 12-point game at halftime. We had some open looks in the first half that we just missed. I thought we panicked a little bit at times because we haven't been down like that in a while. Came out the second half. I thought we executed the start, but again, we just couldn't get the ball in the basket, and they couldn't miss. And I just thought it kind of snowballed from there. And, again, I thought we panicked. That's the big thing. I thought we panicked. And so it was just one that got away from us pretty early there in the second half, and we couldn't do anything to recover from it.
When you have a game like that, do you move on quickly, or are there things you really want to drill down
I
on?
did. I didn't really say much to him after the game. We just huddled. We said the prayer. We were off yesterday. When we came back today, I didn't mention it. We didn't watch any tape. I didn't feel like there was a need to watch it. We just moved on completely.
I can understand why.
Yeah.
So, and I'm guilty of this. I have to admit, people like me will ask questions about must-wins.
Mm-hmm.
When we realize that every game is a must-win, you go in to win every game. But the pressure grows this time of year. How do you handle that with your guys when they hear about must-wins and pressure and all that?
Yeah, I mean, again, like you mentioned, we try to treat every game like that. I'm certainly human also, that I know that there are different types of pressures. And when you're in the late season like this and you're in the position that we're in, the pressure is a little bit different. To me, and what I try to tell our guys, pressure is a privilege. You get a chance to be in games that are incredibly meaningful, and you should embrace it and love it and go out and try to perform. Now, it's easier said than done, and when you're dealing with 18-year-olds, which we have a couple of, that could be a little bit of a challenge. But fortunately, we have some older guys in our program, some guys that have dealt with different types of pressures that hopefully can help us to overcome that.
Who do you lean on leadership-wise in your room?
Yeah, definitely Blake. I mean, it's his team. He is the unquestioned leader. He's the guy that these guys respect, revere, look up to. And he's a great example, not just because of how good he is, but his approach, how he works, the time that he puts in on his game. Blake is probably, on our whole team, he's probably the biggest joker, like as far as like he's just fun. But when he crosses those lines, he understands how to get in character of what he needs to be for our team. And he does it in his own unique way, where it's loose, where it's not overbearing, but he does it he does it in his own way, and I think he's done an incredible job of leading this year.
Jeff, we're going to talk to Gil Brown coming up about the basketball tournament
that's
coming here to the Pete. When those guys got together and practiced here, what did you want your guys, if they did indeed have interaction, to get from talking to those players?
Yeah, we were very fortunate that they had a lot of interaction. Those guys were here for a while practicing. They would play pickup with our guys. The biggest things I wanted them, number one, was to pick their brain of why their teams were so good. What was it about their teams and their approach and things like that? The other things that I wanted them to see, the connection that those guys still have with each other and the pride that they continue to have of putting that jersey on, of what it means. We all represent something bigger than ourselves here. This program has been really, really good, and it's an honor for all of us to be able to wear Pitt on our to wear Pitt across our chest, and those guys were really good with giving knowledge to them, of trying to help them, but of also helping them to understand what it means to be a Pitt Panther.
It's got to be. I would imagine it's cool for you to see guys that you coach kind of join that fraternity.
Yeah.
Get to be in that mix and talk hoops with those guys.
Absolutely. And, again, we've had several guys here, even if they were here for a year, they felt it. Like they felt the family and the being a part of something big and unique where they want to continue to represent it, where it means that much to them. And so having guys like Greg Elliott do it last year, Nelly Cummings, I think JB is committed to doing it next year. Guys that we had a chance to coach and work with, that's something I'm really proud of.
All right, we're going to talk about the basketball tournament being played in July right here in this building with Gil Brown as we continue on the Jeff Capel Show and the Pitt Panthers Radio Network. Welcome back to the Jeff Capel Show here on the Pitt Panthers Radio Network. We're at the GBU Life Campus View Club, joined by Gil Brown. And Gil, who is the special guest with us?
Oh, my daughter, Joya Nico.
Hello.
Say hi. No hi? Okay.
She's camera shy, maybe.
Yes.
You guys get so busy this time. It's got to be really cool to have her around, see Daddy at work.
Oh, I love it. She gets to experience the game. She comes with her mother and my two nephews, and she's into it. So they sit at home and watch the games when we're on the road, and she updates me on how we do.
How does she do with the emotion of the game?
Oh, she's a fan, so she screams, she yells, she says, let's go. She has all the energy in the world.
She hasn't said, hey, why are you guys running this yet?
Oh, no, not yet. I anticipate that coming later on, though.
Well, congratulations. She's beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
You have taken a part in the basketball tournament, which is, $1 million prize. Former players get together. First off, when you guys get together, what's that feeling like when you see some of the guys that, you spent some hard days with and some great days here at school?
It's an amazing feeling, and it's kind of like nostalgic when we go over the memories and the moments that we had, we shared, the accomplishments. But, it's like a sense of seeing along, family member that you haven't seen in a long time, because those guys are my brothers. Like, we stay in contact daily through our group chat, and, whether it be about Pitt basketball or about life, we're always in constant contact.
So you had the guys you played with, but now there are constantly other guys that get added, including guys from last year's team. What's it like to welcome those new players into the group, and are they always the first picks? Like, do you always pick the guys that are just coming off college season?
Oh, you got to, because they're a little younger, a little more in shape. So, us old guys are, hanging on by a thread. But, yeah, they're usually the first picks. But they get kind of welcomed into the brotherhood, And I think Coach for that, just establishing the alumni weekend that we've had and kind of fostering those relationships between the former alumni and the current players.
All right, I'm putting you on the spot, I realize, but of the guys you play with, who still has game?
If we watched last year's TBT, Sam Young, I called him off my couch, and he's always good for a couple buckets. And so that guy, I don't think he'll be in his 50s and he can still play.
Why is it that no one has been able to mimic that pump fake like he does it?
I would say maybe because in the current generation, Sam was a gym rat. And not only was he a gym rat practicing his craft, he would go up to Trees Hall and practice against the regular students and walk on. So he had live reps. So it's just something that just came so natural to him, and he put in work while he was working out up there or in pickup or in practice. He just worked on it constantly. So I don't know. It's just him playing constantly kind of developed that shot fake.
We're joined by Gil Brown. We're talking about the basketball tournament, which comes here in July, and you guys get the host, which is really cool. But another question about Sam. How many times do you fall for that in practice?
Me, never. Never. I'm not jumping. He's going to make the jump shot first. Now, it might be other guys like Terrell Biggs. I hope he hears that because he will fall for it all the time. But never. I'm like, he's going to make the jump shot. I'm going to get yelled at either way. So.
You had a pretty aggressive, big, well-thought-of head coach last year, DeJuan. How did DeJuan do as head coach? I know ultimately we got to work on the results, but
Oh yeah,
as a coach, how did he do?
he did good. I think just delivering the message and what we were trying to do and trying to accomplish, he did good. I think for a lot of us former players that are just like kind of hopping out there, we got to work on like rotations, times, things like that. But I think overall, just delivering the message in our game plan, he was really, really good at that.
Do you guys have time to put in place? I mean, do you?
I think for the majority of us who play professional and play college, there's sets and similar continuity that you're familiar with seeing. So whether it be like a flex offense or a 5-out offense, we can kind of put that in and kind of like key on a couple plays to specifically for certain players to get in scoring opportunities.
I had a chance to watch some of the practice last year and realized how Levance still has that competitive streak in him.
Oh man, he does. I think that'll never leave. It could be video games, it could be on the court. He's competitive in everything he does, and even talking junk.
Has he still got that game?
Oh yeah. That'll never leave.
What's a favorite story you've heard from those get-togethers that you can share in front of your daughter?
You mean just in general or over the
Yeah,
years?
just over.
I can't even trying to think of the. I mean, we always talk about the stories about like, all right, it's in the road trip in Dayton, the Elite 8 year, when we were in Dayton that first round. Like we all had like being kids, college kids, like we used to have like these like fights and like wrestles or whatever, like after like film or walkthrough or whatever it was in the hotel. And it's just one where like Levance comes and like spares Dewan or something. Like that was the one we were joking around like, yo, what just happened here?
Wait, like actual wrestling?
Yeah, like it was like
studio wrestling?
Like studio wrestling, like play fight. So that was one of them. Like, did that really just happen? Like, nah, that actually happened.
What were your practices like when you played here? How would you describe them?
My practices, I think every day, it was a fight, literally. And what I mean by that is, me and Brad Wanamaker was literally on the phone yesterday talking about this. Like, from the moment we played pickup to the time we got into practice, it was like, all right, Levance Fields and Mike Cook, me and Brad, older guys versus younger guys. And it was so competitive where every day, like, you're trying to go at this guy. And, like, you don't want to lose because if we lose, we hear Levance. And we lost a lot as the younger guys. I'm not going to sit here and like lie, but when we got that win, we didn't stop talking. So those were like, that's how the practices really were. Oh, okay.
Gil is joined by his daughter, if you're wondering. Oh, I don't blame her. I would want a treat too. Yeah, now look at that smile. Gil, when you watch your team this year, Jeff had mentioned that he likes the fight and how they've learned. Do you see some of that old Pitt basketball with this program right now?
100%. I was just telling somebody the other day, I think one of the reasons for our recent success over these last like 9 games is the practices have been intense. They've been competitive. Guys have, brought their lunchbox to practice and, gone hard. And I think that's why we see the results that we have. And, over these since I would say we came back from break in January, you could really feel the guys paying attention to detail and competing in practice.
All right, so the basketball tournament's going to be here in July, I think later in July. You guys had to play in West Virginia last year. Yeah, boo. What will it be like to have the zoo help the zoo crew with you guys this year?
I think it's going to be amazing. A lot of the alumni and a lot of the guys are excited. They like just thinking about the opportunity to play at Pitt and have like a home court advantage of what we used to have in college. So like, I think it's going to be, something special. I think it's an exciting time for Pittsburgh and especially for those former guys since they put down the Pitt jersey.
I think there should be some zoo alumni. Like get some 30-year-olds in there, like jumping up and down, remembering what it used to be like.
No, definitely. I think we're going to try to reach out and make something happen. We need to make that happen.
Yeah, that would be really cool. Gil, congrats on everything. Good luck in the tournament. Make sure you show those guys how you can still play.
Who, me?
Yeah.
Oh, no, I'm retired. Not for the
Not
tournament.
at all?
Nah.
Not even when talking starts, you don't head out there?
Maybe not for game. Maybe for practice they could use me. That's it. I'm gonna leave it to the younger guys. Try to get some of these younger guys in and mix them with some vets and try to pull back a team that we could feel real good and confident about and root for.
When we come back, we're going to talk to Jeff is going to rejoin us, and we're going to talk about some of the hardest working people on the staff, and that's the student managers and all the things that they do to make this program run. As we continue on the Jeff Capel Show on the Pitt Panthers Radio Network. We're live at the Campus View Club here at the Peterson Events Center, and Kenny Starr and Matt Watson are going to join us coming up. They're going to I'm going to ask them to explain kind of some of the duties they do, but what is the importance of not just having them, trusting them, the duties that a student manager does on a daily basis?
They are as important as anyone in our program. And the thing I tell our guys, our players, our first meeting is that they are your teammates. They are part of the team, and they are as important as anyone that we'll have in this room, because we can't be at our best if they're not at their best. And they help us, man. First of all, we're very fortunate to have a great group of managers. And these two guys that have come up here, they're the two leaders. And just their energy every day. They love Pitt basketball. They love their teammates. And they do a lot of stuff behind the scenes. They take care of a lot of things. They help, their positive energy, all of those things, man, just help us so much.
How do you find them?
Well, they help, the older guys. Brian Regan does a great job of going out and recruiting managers. It's difficult because you can't be afraid of work. And it's work at different times. It's not necessarily it's not a lot of glamour. It's not a lot of glitz. It's just people that want to be a part of something and that have a passion for something. And really that passion is being a part of something bigger than you and being a really, really good teammate. One of the things I tell our guys also when we get them and they come here and we have our first team meeting is that one of your goals should be to be a great teammate all the time, because each of you are talented individually, just like our managers. They're all talented and they all bring different things, but be a great teammate. And we've been very fortunate. Those guys have been outstanding teammates.
And it's that circle of trust, to borrow the movie line, because they see everything that goes on, and like you said, they're part of that.
They see everything. They see things that we don't see, the coaches, because they're students also.
Right.
And so, they see a lot. They're a part of a lot. One of my best friends to this day was a former manager at Duke.
Really?
He was a former manager. It was like the Aiden Fish story. He was a manager, then he became a player, and I'm so proud. I got him his first basket. I assisted him, and he scored, and we talk about it to this day. He lives out in San Francisco. So managers have always meant a lot. I don't know if it's because I was a coach's son, so I was always around them. When we go on the road, I always look at the ball boys, because I used to be a ball boy, and I was a ball boy for Wake Forest.
Were you really?
Yeah. I was probably the worst ball boy because, and every time I was shooting. I was out there shooting. I was trying to work on my game and things like that. But those positions, ball boys, managers, man, they mean so much. Just because I know I've grown up around teams my whole life. I was a kid. My dad was a high school coach. And so just seeing all the things that they do, I think that's why I feel a kinship towards them.
Have you ever had one go on to be a coach?
Yes. I have one. I have a couple that are assistant coaches out in the Texas area. A couple guys I had with me that were from Oklahoma. We have a guy that was here. There was a manager for us, Robbie Lane, that's at Presbyterian right now.
Robbie.
He's doing an outstanding job down there. He also was a GA for us. I've had several actually that have gone on to be coaches.
Of course, Aiden might operate on any of us someday.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
You got to make sure we're.
No question. Make sure we're extra nice to him.
Well, let's hear from Kenny and Matt what their journey is like, why they decided to do it, What are some of the perks? What are days like as we continue on the Jeff Capel Show on the Pitt Panthers Radio Network? We are joined by the student managers, the only two, right? Kenny Starr, Matt Watson. You are a group of how many?
10.
10.
Yeah.
Wow. Matt, let's start with you. What got you into wanting to do this?
Okay, so I played 4 years of high school, and then my senior year, my high school coach told me that there could be an opportunity to be a manager with the team, and I've been a Pitt fan ever since I was a kid. I've been to every single game you can think of, so just to be able to come with the team and work hard and help our players and coaches has just been an honor and something that I don't take for granted.
All right, you said you've been to a lot of games.
Right.
Beyond one that you've worked, what's your favorite game?
Oh, man. There are too many to count, but I do remember when I was young, the Pitt UConn game back in the day, so that was a big one, but a lot of great memories at the Pete.
Yeah. Kenny, how about for you?
Same as for Matt, I also played 4 years of basketball in high school, but once I decided I wanted to come to Pitt, I decided I wanted to do something with basketball later on. So I just reached out to Coach O'Toole on email. I did not know this at the time, but the team was in Italy on the trip. But he sent me an email back and told me to email Coach Regan. And from there, I came in, did an interview. And
here you are.
here I am.
I want you guys, and I've had the good fortune of being occasionally filling in for Bill Hillgrove and seeing what you guys do. And it's fascinating what you guys do. So however you guys want to divide it, Kenny, I'll start with you. You guys go to Clemson on Tuesday. Take us through what that day is like. When it starts, what you do leading up to the game, through the game, and when you get back here to the Pete that night.
So once we start with our wake up and we get everyone down to breakfast,
Which is about
around 10:30, I'd say.
and we're saying like 7
Normally.
o'clock game.
Yeah. Then we give them their loops for shoot around that day. After that, they usually have a meeting, and then while they're in the meeting, we get the bus all packed up and ready to go. Then we get on the bus and
Which is all the bags, the
All the
water, all of that stuff.
Yeah.
Basketballs, like how many bags are we talking about? 50? More?
for shoot around, it's usually around like 10, probably, right, Matt?
Yeah, and then as we get later on to the day, it probably gets up there around 50. But we're just trying to make sure everything's organized, everything's ready to go, so that we can just operate at our best.
So you guys set up the locker room. Do you have to do you put name how elaborate does that get to set up the room?
Well, we like to get there early. We'll hang up their jerseys and their warm-ups for the day. Make sure everything's nice and organized so that our guys can just get their shoes on, get their game gear on, ready to go. But we want to make sure it looks nice. So you look your best, you'll play your best. So we just want to make sure that everything's nice and organized for our guys.
So you guys have done all this. We haven't even approached tip yet. So as warm-ups happen, what are some of the things you have to get ready, get set up out there?
So when we get to the arena, our locker room is set up. We want to make sure our bench is set up, make sure we have all of our equipment, our clipboards, everything that we have that we need. Then we'll just make sure we're rebounding for our guys, make sure they're getting their shots up, getting nice and warm and loose for the game. And then as some guys are doing that, we'll have some other guys just set up the locker room, make sure our coaches have markers, anything that they need. So when we go back to a huddle, that they're prepared for the game.
Are there players that have specific needs? Or are they pretty much all?
They're pretty much all together.
All the
They're not
same.
very they're easy to work with.
So you guys go through the game and all the things that we see you guys do during a game. Then the game ends. What is that process like to get everything packed up quickly and get on a bus and get on a flight?
Usually we wait for the players will go, we'll all break down, and then they'll go get showers, and we have them lay out their jerseys for us. And then once we have all those and all of their loops that they have on, then we just put them away in their bag, the bag it goes in, and zip it up and take it out the bus.
Yes, and so after we do that, we just want to make sure we collect everything. We don't want to forget anything. I think we're a really great group, and we communicate well. So we just make sure we have all our bags, make sure everything's on the bus nice and neat. Everyone gets their food, and just make sure that everything's put away nice and neat.
And then you guys are the last ones on.
Yep.
Then you get to the airport. You guys are the first ones off. You're making sure all those bags make it to the plane.
Yep.
Making sure the ones that go up top, stay up top, don't get put under accidentally.
So then you fly back to Pittsburgh. You help get the stuff off, and the guys are really good helps there.
Oh,
right?
they're amazing. We couldn't do our job without our coaches and players just helping us out. So that's something I definitely don't take for granted. I just appreciate everyone helping us out, making our jobs easier.
You load up the bus, head back to the Pete. Then you have to bring that stuff inside.
Yeah, luckily we have a lot of our managers that don't travel. They've been really good about coming up and helping us whenever we get back to the Pete, so that we can get everything off the bus and back to where it needs to go.
So a 7 o'clock game, let's say it's a reasonable travel, like an hour and a half flight. You're going to start at 9 that morning, and you will get home at what time?
Probably like 1:30.
That's a long day.
A little bit.
That's a long day. Jeff had mentioned that you guys are part of the family. How welcoming is this, and what's it like to be a part of this group? Matt, I'll start with you.
It's truly a blessing. You know, every day I want to give our players and our coaches and our staff just everything I got. I've been a fan since I was a baby, and like this is a dream come true. So, you know, every day that I'm able to just pour everything in our team and give them everything I got, I truly appreciate it, and I wouldn't want to be anywhere else.
At what point did it take you to get over, like, I'm here at Pitt and I'm helping out with practice and I've got Pitt gear on? And
I would say, you know, my first week here, I was definitely starstruck, a little nervous, and then a few practices in, I was like, hey, this is a heck of a life, and it's just I want to make sure that I give everyone everything I got. So it took me a little bit, but now we're just rolling.
How about you, Kenny?
I'm also very grateful for the opportunity to be able to be a manager for Pitt men's basketball. It's been an amazing experience over the time I've been here.
And I'll ask each of you, what's the biggest perk? What's the thing you love the most about it?
Just being around the players and the coaches and being able to pick their brains and like become closer with them and be able to watch how like a Division I Power 5 practice like really works, and just to see them all like every day and be able to build that relationship with them.
I just like to echo that, and you know, just the bonds and the relationships I've made here, just I'll carry that for the rest of my life, and I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world.
What is the toughest thing to carry?
We've recently got some new bags, so it's been a little easier on that. Also, at the beginning of the year, the boombox was a little, but it's been getting better.
What do you guys want to do with this experience? Is this something where you're around the game, or something where you want to continue to be around the game after you graduate?
Yeah, I would love to continue to be around the game and coach one day. So, you know, every day at practice, I'm just trying to make sure I'm paying as close attention as possible and just appreciate every moment that I experience with the team.
So do you take mental notes of like, okay, this is a cool thing, like?
Oh yeah, for sure. I sit there and I'll watch, and I'm just fascinated by just how much that our staff knows and our how well prepared our coaches are. And I look up to them, and I try to model myself after that.
How about you?
Same for me. It's been a really great opportunity to be able to see what it takes to reach this level and to be successful as a basketball coach and just in athletics in general. So I would like to take like the lessons I've learned and try to pursue something in that.
Do you guys look at the Mark Fuse and Eric Spolstra started as a video coordinator. Now he's 8 years, 120 million. Like, that's not a bad way to go.
Yeah.
Like, are those models that you look at like, hey, this can be done?
Oh, absolutely. It's definitely cool to see, and yeah, it just gives you a lot of confidence, and yeah, it just inspires us to work as hard as we can every day.
For you, Kenny, why is the work so rewarding?
It's so rewarding just because anytime we have the opportunity I know if I do my best, it will help to reflect on the players, and have them be able to be at their best for each game that we have.
Matt, you help represent the university. Does that kind of enter your mind too, as whether there are cameras around or not, there are going to be people watching, and what they see from you guys is a reflection of the school.
Oh, certainly. You know, everything I do, I want to make sure I represent this great school, this university, to the best of my ability, and any way I can just represent our players or our coaches and the school in the best way I can. I want to make sure I do that to the highest level.
All right, here's a chance for a plug. You guys play managers games, don't you?
Oh, yeah.
Against other, so you guys organize games where you'll play managers from other teams, right?
Oh, yeah.
How's it going this year?
It's going all right. You know, we had a few games we played. I believe we played Louisville and I forget the other team. I apologize, but you know,
West Virginia.
West Virginia. We got a strong team, and you know, I think we gotta get some practice in. You know, but make a little late season push.
Who's got the best game?
This guy's up there.
Nah, we got some good players. We got some really good shooters on the team. So I don't know. We're a strong group. I don't know if I pick one out, but I love the rest of our guys. They're a great group.
Well, I mean, you guys do so much for the school and so much for the basketball program. Congratulations. Thanks for all that you guys do. It's awesome that Student Manager Appreciation Week is this week. And, you know, Grow the Game is a group of nonprofits that's trying to create more resources to help you guys out with things that you need to help you with your development. You can find out more at gtghoops.com. It's growthegame.com, basically, GTG. Thank you again for all you do, and congrats, and good luck the rest of the year.
Thank you so much
for having us.
All right, thank you very much. As we continue, you know, last week Blake Hinson was sitting in, well, not in both these seats, but in one of these seats, and I think we must have known that something special was going to happen Saturday, so we'll talk about that 41-point game as we continue on the Jeff Capel Show on the Pitt Panthers Radio Network. So last week, Matt Plisco puts all the show together.
Yeah.
Does great work for you in the
Great
university.
work,
We're
yeah.
talking about the student managers, but what Matt does as well. And Blake was here, so that means, you know, Matt and Kenny are going to have really good games. They're going to be at the top of their games. So he must have known that something was going to happen. I know you get asked that were asked this after the game. I mean, there are sometimes guys have hot starts and then it cools up. When did you know that Blake was going to have like the third most points in a game in Pitt history?
There was a play in the first half. It was opposite Louisville's bench. And Blake had just, I think, the play before given us like the tired signal, that he was a little bit tired. And I think it was right before the under 8 timeout. And he had the ball. We were calling a play. And he was about 35 feet away, and he shot it. And when he shot it, because it was I didn't think it was a good shot.
Right.
I was like frustrated when he shot it. I just kind of like turned. And I think I said to my staff, like, what is he doing? And then I heard the reaction from the crowd. That's when I knew. And I don't know I'm not sure if you remember it. I just started laughing once I saw it because it was like, that's like the most Blake thing. These shots that aren't like great shots, he'll make them. And like I've always said, it could be the one that just gets them going.
As a coach, obviously celebrating wins is awesome. But to watch a room unselfishly celebrate somebody for having a great moment, what's that feeling like? All the things you go through as a coach to have that moment in the room.
Yeah, well, it's really, really cool. I mean, one of the coolest things this year, and it's happened, you know, a few times, our guys know. Like, they know in the moment, like, when something, is happening. Like, the first game of the year, like, they knew Bub was, I think, 1 assist away from a triple-double. We had another game where Guillermo was 1 rebound away from a double-double. Like, they knew. They're telling me the game at West Virginia, I didn't know Blake had 8 threes. And Bub is telling me, like, he only needs 1 more. Like, let's run something for him. That part is really, really cool where they're, like, so invested in each other. And then, you know, in that situation when Blake hit the 3 to get to 41, to see the whole place react like it did, you know, he's a guy that I think means a lot to this place, certainly to our program, but I think to the city and to the university. what he's meant to all of us is pretty special. And to be a part of that moment with him was really cool.
That wasn't the only thing that happened in the Louisville game. There was also another thing that happened that was interesting. I want to ask you about your relationship with officials as we continue on the Jeff Capel Show on the Pitt Panthers Radio Network. We're at the Campus View Club here at the Peterson Event Center. Wasn't all good at the Louisville game early on. You got a technical foul. How much do you talk to officials and how does that relationship work?
I've gotten much better over the years. When I started in this as a head coach, I was 27, and I was I was so paranoid about everything, and that's where I think I've really evolved. Now I say that I'm not sure I've been as angry as I was in that Louisville game. And it was because I literally did not do anything to get a tech. I didn't say anything. I didn't do anything. I was surprised when it happened. And you saw my reaction. I'm looking like, on who? There are times when I get them, I know I'm going to get it. Sometimes it's calculated. Normally, if it happens, I know it's deserving. I've crossed the line. And I'll go to the official and say, I'm sorry. Hey, look, my bad. I was wrong for that. And things like that. But that one was a little bit different. I told my team at halftime, I apologized to them. And I told them, I go in and I talk to them. I tell them I'm coming back at 8 minutes. And I said, look, when I come back here at the 8-minute mark, I'll be better. Because I got to go calm myself down. Because I was really just angry in that moment. Because I didn't say anything, didn't do anything. I wasn't demonstrative or anything. One of the other refs came up to me and said, I got you. Don't worry about that. I know you and things like that. So my relationship has evolved over the years. I'd spent a lot of time trying to talk to him now. I understand, just like everyone in this business, when you get to where we are right now, the end of February, everyone's tired. And so because everyone's tired, your fuse is a little bit lower. And so the ability to snap can become higher.
Has an official ever apologized to you?
Yes, they have. And one of the I think the really good officials are the ones that can do that. They can say, hey, you know what, I blew that. I missed that one. And that's all you want. That is just to be able to acknowledge, because we're all human. I screw up a lot of stuff during a game or something that I thought that I saw. And I'll go back and watch tape and say, hey, you know what, that ref was right on that one. I shouldn't have yelled at him. And if I see him again, I'll say it to him. I'll say, hey, you know what, you got that one right. My bad about that. You have some that do that. Those are the ones that are probably more secure with who they are.
In about 30 seconds here, is consistency the big thing you want?
Yes. That's the biggest thing. How are you calling the games? One of my frustrations is we have to watch this video before every season, and they talk about all these new rules, and then you get, after about the first 2 or 3 games, it's like it's out the window. The game is so much more physical right now than it was a few years ago, and that's something they keep saying they want to take out of it.
All right, let's talk about the Hokies. Virginia Tech is here. It is Autism Awareness Night, 5:30 tip here at the Peterson Event Center. We'll discuss that as we continue on the Jeff Capel Show on the Pitt Panthers Radio Network. All right, Virginia Tech is here on Saturday at 5:30. They're coming off a huge win, and they got some guys that can shoot the ball, too.
Yeah, they're very, very good offensively, coming off of a huge win. They beat the brakes off of Virginia this past weekend. They can shoot it. They have older guards. Kid inside is really good. Very talented team.
Yeah, Kid is shooting 65% from the floor and 89% from the foul line.
Yeah, don't remind me.
Well, hey, good luck.
Thank you.
It is a special game. It is 5 o'clock pregame, 5:30 tip right here at the Peterson Event Center. Our thanks to Gil Brown, to Kenny Starr, and Matt Watson, to Amanda King. Congrats to Joel Nelson, Casey Garrow, and Matt Plizga. We'll see you next time on the Jeff Capel Show on the Pitt Panthers Radio Network.